All right, you guys, I fooled you this time. All right, you guys. Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you all to Collective Rewilding. My name is Tammie Larson. This is the Tea Talk with Tammie Larson. I just want to thank you all for joining and supporting me. Today we will be watching some videos. For those who do not know me, my name is Tammie Larson, obviously, and I am currently enrolled in the Master Gardening Program here in the state of California, here in San Bernadino County, Riverside, San Bernardino, Riverside, and I am in my third week. So far, so good. Uh, uh, I don't really have anything to say about the classes. Honestly, I'm the type of person that kind of learns on my own kind of thing. So when people are like teaching me, especially when it's uh, I have a hard time explaining myself sometimes, but if someone's not a really good instructor or just not explaining it to the point where I can like absorb it and understand it, then I lose all interest. So, not that I'm not interested in the program, it's just every week there will be a different instructor. So, this week it was the Saturday. My courses are on Saturdays. They are 3 hours long. Okay, so it's from 9 to 12, and on Saturday we had a horticulture speaker that came in and spoke for like 3 hours about horticulture and the types of gardens that there are, like therapeutic gardens, things like that, for like self care. So basically, that's what it kind of was about. Um, I haven't read my chapter. Like I said, I'm not really fond on reading. I'm a very auditory learner. So when I read like 60 or 70 pages in a chapter, I kind of get real bored, you guys. So I have to find someone that can explain it to me in a way where I can understand it. Okay, so this person, she is a YouTuber. Her name is Janie. Okay, and she lives here in California. I think she lives in Solo County. It's up in by UC Davis. Okay, I live in San Bernardino County, but she lives further by the Bay Area, down by like Ventura area, like San Francisco area. Okay, you guys. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, and we'll be pretty much watching. Basically, what she did, she recorded her experience in the Master Gardening Program. So we're going to start from day one. Okay, she's going to basically tell you about herself, why she joined, and as you get to more of the videos, for those who are in my study group, you know that I watch her. So hopefully you guys don't get too bored. But yeah, so I'm very inspired by her. I want to start growing flowers. Okay, so I don't know anything about flowers, you guys. I love flowers, though. I'm a flower chick, but I don't know how to grow them. I love roses. I buy roses for myself all the time. So what I want to do is I want to start growing them, and with my property, I have like a vision of like having like a cottage. I'm into the witchy stuff, so like a witchy kind of garden when you go into the great abyss, and then you're just in heaven, and hopefully I can make that happen. But it's going to take time, and when you deal with an empty property, it's kind of more harder because I got a lot of ideas. I just don't know too much about plants and their locations on where to put them and all that stuff. So yeah, so I kind of want to have like a Wizard of Oz or like an Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe, with like really cool exotic roses, plants, everything. When you're flying above my house, I want to make sure that everybody sees my house. So, uh, so that would be really cool, just to have a really colorful rose flower garden, herb garden, vegetable garden, and then possibly opening a business or whatever it may be. um, Possibly having where once I grow all these flowers on my property, I would like to maybe have it where people in my community, or maybe have a B&B or whatever you want to call it, Airbnb, where people can build their own bouquet, and have like a little trail, and maybe have all different types of plants, and have descriptions of what the plant is, what is it used for, and all that good stuff. So like I said, you guys, I have so many ideas, and right now I'm thinking about doing taking a floral certification on flowers. I love art, you guys. That is my forte. I love drawing. um that's my main thing, is I do love drawing. I just don't do it a lot. So yeah, I love anything that has to do with art. Food, I like looking at it, I like the colors, but I don't cook. Okay, you guys. So as being a master food preserver, I haven't done anything hands-on yet, you guys. So a lot of it for me is educational, and having the skill set to apply that when I need it. Okay, you guys. So for the master gardening, that is something that I can use every day, just like being a master food preserver, just in a different way. For master gardening, it would be more something that I do every day. So it's going to be something that I enjoy doing. Okay. With food preservation, I can't enjoy until I start getting into it, like literally hands on, and being able to get fresh fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. And I need to have a garden to do that. We don't have any farmers marks out here at all, you guys. So I can't get fresh fruit, and that's the whole thing with preservation, is picking fresh fruit and preserving it. And yeah, so I need to get that going, and I need to start planning. And that's one of the hardest things for me, because I have mad ADD, and it's hard for me to stay more focused more than like 10 minutes, and then I'm on something different. So I literally am that type of person where I have to go to a library and sit in a room where there's nothing on the walls to focus and not get distracted. But other than that, you guys, we're going to start watching these videos. We're going to watch a couple. All right. And let's see here. Well, hi, Benny. Thank you for coming. You're fashionably late, like always. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right, let's do this. All right, I got to see if I can do this right. Let's see here. Windows, Schnikes, Chrome tab. Let's see here. Let's see here. All right. All right, can you guys see this? Vanessa, Wendy?
Yeah.
You guys can see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, this is Jeannie. That's her name. All right. So I'm going to go back, and this is her YouTube channel. Okay. It's a dig, plant, water, and repeat. Okay. Yeah, she's a master gardener. She completed the course in I think 2000 and let me see here. I think maybe 2 years ago. And I came across her because I was interested in doing it. And for me, I like to go on YouTube and see if has anybody else has gone through the experience of doing this. Like anytime that I'm interested in any type of educational course or anything, like let's say for example, if I want to get certified in something, I want to go on YouTube and see how other people what their experience was. And sometimes they'll give you hints, tips, and tricks, and sometimes they will be better sometimes than the instructor, because they can explain it because they read the information. And we all learn different, and I learn different. So Jeannie, she lives in zone 9B, and I live in 9A, so we can grow the same plants. And she's more into the flowers, so she kind of inspired me to like start like growing flowers. And here in the desert, that's pretty much what we can grow is flowers. It gets pretty hot out here, but I would have to have like a irrigation system, because I would be out there watering all day, so I would have to set up an irrigation system. And do that in pots. You know, she has a beautiful, beautiful garden. And yeah, and so we're going to start on her week 1. Okay, so it's basically going to tell you about the Master Gardening Program, what we do, and stuff like that. All right, you guys. So this is 16 minutes. We're going to do week 1, and then we did week 3 today. On Friday. We haven't gotten into soil, but we haven't done that class yet. So we went from week 1 to horticulture, and then I think Saturday is when we talk about soil. I'm not sure why they did it like that, but they did it like that. But yeah, so we're just gonna watch, and then kind of this is what I'm doing in my life right now.
Morning, January 6th, and it is the very first day of my Master Gardeners training program. I am so excited. I feel like it is the first day of school. I have a brand new blank notebook ready to fill out. I have my textbook that I've already read the first chapter. That was the first assignment. I have my water bottle. I have my snacks. I am ready. So I'm going to keep you all updated on this whole training experience. I just wanted to, check in right before I head inside. It's about 8:57 right now, and they say do not be late, so I gotta go. All right, wish me luck. Hi everyone. All right, it is later that same afternoon. I made it through my first day of training for my Master Gardeners program. It went so well. I can't even tell you guys. It is like the perfect program for me to be in at this time. I walked in and there was a bunch of people there, and you could just tell they were all like-minded people just like myself. People obsessed with gardening. So I do have to say it is currently not raining right now, which is absolutely crazy. So I wanted to come outside and I wanted to get some fresh air. But look, first of all, look at my purple hyacinth beans. They are done. They are at the end of their life, but look at what a mess my backyard is. I mean, because it's been flooded. My backyard has actually been flooding from all the rain. So I'm not even going to worry about it right now, but it is definitely going to be cleanup time once this rain passes. We still have another 10 days at least of rain on the forecast. So I'm not even gonna worry about it right now. Anyway, so I just wanted to come out here and get some fresh air while I was talking to you guys about how the first day of training went. This is day 1 of 16. There are 16 weeks, and I think what my plan is that I will record a video after every training class, and then post it the next Monday, so Master Gardeners Mondays, and let you guys know how the program went, kind of what we talked about, what I learned, how the experience has been for me. So today, the first day, was mostly an introduction class. It was like my program coordinator, her name is Jennifer. She was there and she was just talking all about the program, the history of the Master Gardeners program, the mission statement of the program, what they expect from us as volunteers, what they're going to provide to us. All of us volunteers get mentors. And so the mentors are, certified Master Gardeners who have already been through the program, and they're there to help us. So we learned who our mentors were going to be. And they're basically somebody that we can call and we can ask any question. We can ask them to go to volunteer things with us if we don't feel comfortable. They're basically our big sister or our big brother, which is so fantastic. And I do have to say, every Master Gardener that was there, that I was talking to, they were so welcoming and so supportive and so, so willing to help out, it was just so cool to see. It was just so amazing. And I can just see how welcoming this program is going to be to all the volunteers, and then how we can go out to the community and share all the knowledge that we've learned, and keep spreading the word, which is the purpose of the Master Gardener program. So the first thing we talked about was a little bit of the history of the Master Gardeners program, which I'm not going to bore you all with the history, but it was there was a couple things that I thought were very interesting. First of all, the story of the Master Gardeners program actually dates back to Abraham Lincoln times, when Abraham Lincoln was president, and there was a bunch of people, of Americans out there gardening, but they were all uneducated. None of them went to school. None of them knew what they were doing. So what the government did is they put together, they sponsored programs and basically sent people out on wagons to these private farms where they taught these amateur farmers how to do things the right way and how to succeed as as farmers. And that was such a successful program, and it was so helpful for the American people that it continued on for years and years and years. And I just thought that story was really neat. It was really, really cool. So then, you know, what is it, 100-something years later, at Washington State University, there was a couple doctors there. I don't remember their names. I'll see if I can find it and put it down here. But they were basically got to be known publicly as professional gardeners, master gardeners themselves, but it wasn't master gardeners yet. And so I guess they were getting so many phone calls and so many letters and so many questions from the public that they couldn't respond to everybody. They were spending all their time responding to the public. So what they decided to do is they decided to train volunteers so that the volunteers could answer the public's question, and so the public could get what they needed. They needed gardening help, but it wasn't the doctors, the professors that were doing all the work. It was the volunteers, and that's how the Master Gardeners program got started. So it started up in Washington State, and then California, where I'm at, we basically copied their program, and that's how the California program came to pass. So during the first day, they really focused on showing us how to find information. So the goal of the Master Gardeners program isn't for us to be masters. We aren't expected to know absolutely everything about gardening and be able to answer every single question off the top of our heads. The goal of this is to teach us how to find research-based information, scientific information that we can provide to the community. We need to know how to look it up and how to provide the right type of information, not anecdotal information, but actually scientific based and research based. So that was a big focus, is just showing us where we could look it up, the different sites, and then also textbooks that they really thought were really worth it, were worth their weight. And so I don't have a list of all the textbooks, but I do have 2 that I wrote down, because I'm actually, as soon as I stop filming this, I'm going to go in and I'm going to order them myself, because I was flipping through them and I thought, okay, I need this book in my collection. So the first one was by the American Horticultural Society, and it was Pruning and Training by Christopher Brickle and David Joyce. And so this one is the program coordinator, Jennifer. She was talking about how it helps you remember, you can look up how to prune and how to train basically every single plant in your garden. So if you can't remember how to prune a limelight hydrangea, or if you can't remember how to train a bougainvillea, you can look it up in this book, and it has apparently really good scientific research-based information. You'll hear me say that a lot because they said it a lot in the class. The other book that I was really interested in is kind of more for the West Coast, hotter climates, but that's where I'm at, and it's Plants and Landscapes for Summer Dry Climates. I mean, perfect, right? Perfect for me. And it's actually by the East Bay Municipal Utilities District, which I thought was kind of funny. But it does make sense if a utilities district is trying to get people to conserve water. They want to plant their gardens with drought-tolerant plants. And that was actually one of my goals this year. I didn't do a video on my goals, or did I? No, I didn't do a video on my goals, but I did an Instagram post on my gardening goals this year. And one of them was to focus on more drought and heat tolerant plants, just because we all know that the heat is going to be getting worse and worse. I was reading an article about how, I can't remember if it was El Nino or El Nina, but basically we're going into an El Nino phase or an El Nina phase, whichever one, which indicates we will get hotter summers. And last summer was the hottest summer on record, and so that just means that this summer is probably going to be even hotter. So I know that I have to start adjusting my garden to heat tolerant and drought tolerant plants, just to make it worth my while, so that these plants don't fry in the summer. So that book was, it was like, I got to get my hands on that, because that is definitely one of my gardening goals this year. So the other thing we talked a lot about was our volunteer hours and our continuing education hours. And I just have to say to you guys, the reason why I'm telling you all this is just in case you're interested in the Master Gardeners program yourself. I had a lot of trouble finding information about the program and what the program entailed. And at the time I was working full time, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. I didn't even have the information. So these numbers that I'm giving it to you, they're probably going to be different for every county or every state or anything like that, but at least you can get an idea of what the Master Gardeners program entails. So as volunteers, we're going through 16 weeks of what visit 4-hour classes, 16 weeks of 4-hour classes, and that's just our training. And then we also have to do 50 hours of volunteer work, which is educating the public, right? It's not actually, it's not so much like gardening, like volunteering your time gardening. It's really focusing on educating the public and teaching the public something. So however you want to do that, farmers market, or the Master Gardeners hotline, or there's presentations you can do. I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking about doing in a little bit. But that's 50 hours for the first year, and then after the first year, it's like 25 hours per year to keep up your Master Gardener's certification. Then in addition to that, you have continuing education, which is where you're learning. So you can watch presentations or go to classes, or go to like Annie's Annuals. There's a really big nursery around here, garden center around here, and they have classes all the time, and Master Gardeners recognizes Annie's Annuals as really good, so that would count as your continuing education if you went to one of those classes. So things like that I feel like we all, like, if you're watching this video, a gardening video, you're probably doing all of that anyway with the continuing education. So I feel like that's just moot. I'm going to get my continuing ed hours, no problem. As for the volunteer hours, what my plan is, I have had some people ask me what my plan is for the volunteer hours. And what my plan is this. So I am planning to use my video skills, my editing skills, my social media skills to help spread the word and educate the public on the Master Gardeners program. That is what I talked about in my interview, and they were really excited about that because, their goal is public outreach. Their goal is to let the public know that the Master Gardeners are there to answer their questions and help them and teach them things. But if they're not using the resources that the public uses, the information is never going to get to the public. So not throwing shade on anybody, but, at least my county, my program, they are very newspaper dependent at this point. They're even radio dependent at this point. They have newsletters, and they have a website, and that's pretty much what they use for outreach, mass outreach. And then obviously they have the farmers market and the hotline and all that kind of stuff, which is fantastic. But you all know these days we get our information from YouTube. We get our information from Instagram, from Facebook, things like that. So it's definitely time that the Master Gardeners program starts expanding to those different avenues of spreading the word. And, if you don't know how to do something like that, if you don't know how to edit a YouTube video, it's really, really difficult. It's a difficult thing to learn. I know, because I learned it myself. So I want to bring that skill that I have to the Master Gardeners program. So they were, the proctors were there today at the meeting, and the proctors are people that are going to be teaching us the classes, the 15 more classes. Each class is going to be taught by a different proctor, and that's what they specialize in. Like next week is Intro to Soil Science. So the person who's going to teach the class specializes in soil science. There was another woman there who seemed super interesting. She actually lives in Davis, and she's teaching the weed class, and she knows everything about weeds and identifying weeds and all this kind of stuff. And so the other one that they were talking about, there's a woman who is I'm going to say this wrong. It's like a rosologist. She specializes in roses. And I immediately thought, like, oh, I need to get her on camera so that she can do a rose pruning video for the Master Gardeners program, right? And so I'm going to email her as soon as I'm done here and I buy my books. Then I'm going to email her, and I'm going to talk to her about going to film her at the community rose garden that we have in Woodland, the town just close to me, and see if she can do a video, see if she'd be willing to do a video on rose pruning. And then what I can do is I can start a YouTube channel for the Master Gardeners, and I can post that video there. So that's me using my skills, educating the public, through people that are a little bit have more expertise than I do, but eventually I'll get that kind of expertise, I think. So anyway, all in all, the first day of the Master Gardeners program was fantastic. It is everything I expected and more, everything I hoped it would be. I can't tell you guys, it was so fun to be in a room full of like-minded people like myself. We had a couple breaks, so all of us got to talk. I was talking to a woman next to me, and she was telling me that she just loves learning, and she's taken all these horticulture classes and gone to all these events where she learned about different gardening stuff, and she was like this super, super intelligent woman. You could just tell she knew so much, and you could tell how hungry she was for information on gardening. So it was really, really fun. Then the other thing, we were drinking coffee, and I was talking to two other women about pollinator gardens, and there was this one woman who said she has a pollinator garden, and I said, oh, that's great. I planted up some planters, some stock tanks as a pollinator garden, but my milkweed's not doing very well. It died on me. Both women were like, oh, that's what it's supposed to do during the winter. Don't pull it out, it'll come back. And it's like, I didn't know that. I had no idea. It's totally dead during the winter, and then it comes back. So already day one, I learned things from, my colleagues, from the people that are around me, which I think it's just great. It's just really exciting. You never stop learning, as soon as, what's that phrase? As soon as you feel like you've learned everything, then that's when your life ends. You know what I mean? So I'm super excited. I feel like I'm going to learn so much of this program. I am planning to take you guys along every single week. Again, my classes are on Friday, so the video of the recap of my Master Gardener's training class, I'll post it the next Monday, so you guys can kind of follow through with me with my program, 16 weeks, and then May of this year, 2023, hopefully, if I pass my test, I will be a Master Gardener. So I hope this was interesting to you all. If any of you are interested in becoming a Master Gardener and going through the training program, don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me or put it in the comment section down below, or Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me. But ask me questions, whatever you have to ask. I'll try and answer them the best I can. I can always ask my program coordinator if she can help us answer the questions. But so far, so good. So far, I'm super excited about the class, and I think it is a perfect match. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. I think I'm going to go put my gardening clothes on and try and plant some bulbs, because, oh my goodness, it's not raining. I actually see a couple pieces of blue sky. So I think I'll go do some gardening right now while I still have light. And I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.
How'd you guys like it? I hope you guys are enjoying it, because I think she's really cool, and her personality, and she just she has a lot education. She knows a lot, and she was like endorsed. What do you want to say it? But by I think Green Acres, not Green Acres, but Proven Winners. So it is a plant company that sells really expensive plants, flowers, you want to call them, beautiful flowers. And so, yeah, so she did a video. I'll show it to you guys here in a little bit, where she was at Green Acres, where she lives. It's a nursery where she lives, and yeah, you'll see that her face is literally on the stand. Where like I guess, honey, how do you explain it? She's
the video I wanted you to show.
All right, so I'm gonna find that.
Yeah,
So she was like endorsed by Proven Winners. So yeah, so she does events for Proven Winners. Yeah, it's pretty cool, you guys. And let me see if I can find it. But yeah, so I was like, no way. See, like with us Master Gardeners, you can be a YouTuber, and people can like find you and like what you do, and then they have products, and if she uses her products, their products, that's another way. Let's see here. Where do I find it?
Just listen to that video when you watch it. It sounded very interesting. I'm like, yeah, definitely share that out with the class.
Oh yeah, I gotta find it. Like,
yeah,
I had it on my Google Doc, you guys, but I can't find it. Let's see here. Let's see here. I can actually go on. She has a podcast. She has so many things, and she wrote a book with like this really good landscaper, like what do you want to call him? Someone that does your landscape for like the rich people. Like, it's crazy. And I was just doing research on her, and found that she has a book on Amazon that she wrote. Pretty cool stuff. And she has a store as well, and she kind of tells you what stuff she uses in her garden. And that's kind of like some of the ideas that I'm getting from my, with when it comes to like, starting seeding, you know, you know, uh, starting seeding, like things where you put your seeds in. There's so many different types, and she uses these really cool ones that are like plastic, but they're like rubber, and so it's easier for them, to germinate and easy to come out. Okay, so what was I gonna do? Let's see here. I'm trying to find that one video. Let me see here, you guys. Sorry. Let's see here. Now I gotta find that video that Daryl wants me to show you. I just gotta find it in her playlist because I kind of watch most of all of them. I'm getting there. Hang on, you guys. She has a lot of them. Let's see here. Let me go on. I had it, you guys. Pete. All right. Am I on the same thing? Where is her thing? It's like literally on her webpage. Now I gotta freaking find it. She has a podcast. Oh man. It literally shows her. All right, so I'm here on the Approved Winners Direct website. So all of these plants are like, they do like research on these plants, scientific research. So these plants don't come out for like years. So they're in like a, yeah, I can't explain it. They just last for a long. They're like $30, almost $40 plants, you guys, and they last forever. From what I'm hearing, now I gotta freaking find where I freaking saw her video, you guys. Thanks, Daryl. Now you got me try to look for this. Where did I see her? It's like literally on her homepage. Yeah, because like it's on the bottom. Oh my god, you guys. Hang on. And don't. Let's see here. Okay, I'll probably find it somewhere, you guys. Hang on. All right, if I can't find it, I can't find it. But I will find it later. But it is one that I wanted to show you guys. She does a lot of things, obviously. So it's kind of hard to find what I'm looking for. I'll know when I see it. She's in the freaking store. Mm-hmm. Oh my god. This is redonkulous. Oh man, Daryl, why'd you make me go on a goose chase? He asked me earlier if I had my videos lined up. And then I said, yeah. And then I couldn't find my Google Doc that I had made last week.
Where could you find your Google Doc?
It really has to be on here. It has to be on the website because that's how I found it. Let's do here. This is retarded. Oh my god. Dang it. I hate doing live when this happens. I really wanted to show you guys that video. All right, so this is that book that I was telling you about that she wrote. Maybe I'll find it in here. So yeah, she wrote a book with this guy. He's a landscaper. Like really nice in San Francisco area. Like crazy. Like, oh my gosh. I was like, dang. I wish he can come to my house and do my property. Let's see here.
You can't find it.
I'm trying to find it right now. Building foundations. We can watch the horticultural until I find. Yeah, we're gonna watch this one next. Yeah, so we'll watch the horticulture one. And that's one that I want to watch. And then when I find that video, I'll stop that one and then we can watch it. All right. So we're going to do for her it was week 3, in which is it's kind of like the same thing. I don't have soil yet, so it's kind of like the same schedule. But she did it a different year, and she's in a different county than I am. So her experience was probably more different because she attended in person. I can do that as well if I choose to. I just it's a distance. It's a pretty big distance from my house, and when I'm in my class, it's virtual, and you can see the people in the class that are there at the facility. So there's like 5 or 6 people that are that go. Anybody can go if they choose to.
Do you need help with a complex employment issue in a foreign country? Don't Google it. Ask an expert with remote. Here's how. Right inside remote, you can book a one-to-one video call with one of our in-house experts in HR,
Am I
tax,
on
or
another
mobility.
one?
There's no ticket.
All right, I gotta get out of something else was playing there. All right, sorry you guys. All right, we're gonna do horticulture. All right, this is the one that I did on Saturday. So this is her experience, and I had a different experience. It wasn't. Mine was more of like talking about therapeutic gardens, the different types of
program, and by the end of May, I should be a certified master.
Why is her lips going so fast? Am I playing it somewhere else? It's super weird. Let me exit out of there. This is weird. All right, let me try that again. Because it looks like she's talking weird.
Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to my week 3 Master Gardeners training recap. So I am going through my local Master Gardeners training program. It is a 16-week program, and by the end of May, I should be a certified Master Gardener, which is crazy to say. I never thought I would be able to do this, but just, the situation, the stars aligned, and I'm so excited to be participating in this training program. So far, I am absolutely loving it, and the only thing I can say to all of you thinking about joining your local Master Gardeners training program is absolutely do it. It is tough. It is not an easy program, but I am enjoying absolutely every minute of it. Now, week 3 for us was actually intro to horticulture. Last week was intro to soils, and it's, I think they had a scheduling issue because actually in our book, chapter 2 is intro to horticulture and chapter 3 is soils and soil science. So they kind of just, tweaked it around for us a little bit. So we kind of went back a chapter. This chapter was actually easier. This topic to me, it was easier than last week. Last week was soils for gardeners and soil science and all that kind of stuff. And that was a tough one for me. And not just me, my other trainees in my class, they said the same thing. They said they had a really tough time last week. So this week was a lot easier because horticulture, the study of plants, it's just a lot more intuitive. It's kind of stuff that we mess around with plants all day. We don't really look at the soil that much. We look at the plants all the time. So it was a little bit more intuitive, and I felt a little bit more comfortable with this week's topic. So I have my giant notebook that I frantically take notes during class. And I've decided that I'm just going to refer to this when I'm doing these recap videos for you guys, because there is just so much information that I want to tell you all. I don't want to miss anything. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notebook and the notes that I've taken during class. So our intro to horticulture lecture was presented by a lead faculty member at a local college, and she is the lead faculty at the horticulture and plant sciences department. I'm not sure what you call that for college, but she teaches a lot of college classes, plant identifying classes, intro to horticulture, landscape design classes, a whole bunch of stuff, things that I think would be so interesting to take. But I think one thing at a time. Let's start with the Master Gardeners program, and then maybe later on I can start taking some classes at the college there. So basically what she said is that the whole lecture was basically a deep dive into what you read on a plant tag. So you go to the store and you buy a plant, and there's a plant tag, and it tells you sun exposure needs, water needs, the zones, the climate zones, what type of soil to plant your plant in, all that kind of stuff. This is a deep dive into that. This is understanding the plant tag and even be able to read a little bit more into it so you know how to get your plants to thrive. So one of the first things we talked about in class, and I actually did a video about this, so I was very proud of myself for being already familiar with these topics, is we talked about climate zone maps that are used in the United States. This is of course all the United States. I'm not familiar with the other zone maps like in Australia or the UK or Europe or anything like that. But here in the United States, there are 3 recognized zone maps, and I will link my zone video down below because everything that I learned in class is exactly what I talked about in that video. So I think that video would be really helpful if you all wanted to learn a little bit more about these zones. So for the zones, the 3 recognized zones are the USDA zone map, which we all know and love, right? I am USDA zone 9B, and it kind of changes around the country. However, the USDA zone map only takes into account minimum temperatures in a particular zone. Basically, how cold that zone gets over the year, over the 365 days. So that's great, but that's kind of missing a big portion of factors that goes into whether a plant is going to survive in your area or not. For instance, plants suffer physiological stress anytime they get above 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So 86 degrees Fahrenheit and above, plants will start to actually shut down, and they will actually stop their processes, just in an effort to save themselves. So where the USDA zone map completely ignores that fact, it's making it really difficult for people who live in hot weather climates, or even people who live in cold weather climates but do get hot during the summertime. You have to take that into account when you think about if a plant is going to survive in your region. So the next climate zone map that's recognized is the American Horticulture Society heat zone map. And this heat zone map takes into account exactly what I'm talking about. How many days a region gets above 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the plants are rated based on how many days that plant can handle being above 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Because some plants aren't going to be able to handle that at all. Some plants are going to be able to handle that no problem, and it's not going to bother them at all. So you kind of need to know about that. The USDA zone map and then the American Horticulture Society zone map covers the entire United States. Of course, the USDA zone map is completely widely used. You can go to the store and you can pick up a plant and it will say right there on the tag what zone that plant is good for. Most likely it's not going to say what plant, what AHS heat zone it's going to be. Maybe it might, I don't know. But I personally have never seen it on a plant. I wish I had. Now, the third zone map that is recognized in the United States is very important to me and really very important to anybody who lives west of the Rockies. And that is the Sunset Climate Zone map. And I've talked about this a lot, and I'm coming to realize how much more important this is. So the Sunset Climate Zone was developed by Sunset Magazine. I don't know if you all are familiar with Sunset Magazine, but I remember growing up, my mom always had Sunset Magazine, on our table, and my grandparents had it, and it's a Western-based magazine. It's a gardening magazine, and they recognized how topography diverse, I don't know, how diverse the West Coast is compared to the rest of the United States. Think about the Great Plains, that's pretty much consistent, right? Even Florida is pretty consistently hot and humid. I mean, of course, there's differences between Miami and the Panhandle, but, pretty consistent. Now, California and Oregon and, different places like that, you can go 1 hour here, drive 1 hour this way, and you can have a completely different climate. So we need a little bit more specific of a zone map than just what the USDA zone map gives us. And so that's where the Sunset Climate Zones come in. And they take into account not only cold temperatures, hot temperatures, humidity, ocean influence, water influence, land influence, wind, on and on and on. It takes in elevation, right? Where you are as compared to another mountain range, it's just crazy how in-depth this zone map is. And so the presenter really made it clear to us how important it was for us on the West Coast to use this. Now, I asked her how widespread the Sunset Zone map is used. And she said, okay, so it's mainly the West Coast. However, there are Sunset Zone ratings for the rest of the United States. They're just really, really difficult to find. And I asked her where she's seen them, and she said she saw them online somewhere, but she couldn't give me a resource. But then I was talking about this on Instagram, and one of you messaged me and said that you found a Northeastern book, Sunset Zone Map book. So just kind of look, if you live on the East Coast or if you live in the South, just kind of look around and see if you can find a sunset book for your region. And I would recommend getting it because I really, really do think that this zoning system is so much more specific and so much more useful. And then you can see what plant will work in your area. Okay, for instance, I am in Sunset Zone 14. And I told you guys in my question and answer video, one of the plants I was really having difficulty with was a penstemon. I can't do penstemon. I don't know why. I just keep killing them every time I bought them. I bought them, I think, 3 times and I've killed them. Well, we were doing in class on Friday, we were doing like a lab, like a exercise where we were actually taking the Sunset Garden book and we were looking up penstemon and we were looking up the different cultivars of penstemon. And each different cultivar was rated for kind of different zones in the Sunset Zone map. So for instance, about half of the cultivars of penstemon were not appropriate for my zone 14, which I thought was crazy. Because you hear that, at least here, you hear that penstemon is just a fantastic plant and everybody around here should be growing penstemon because it's so great. But about half of the varieties I shouldn't be growing. I can't grow. No wonder I've been having a hard time. But if I chose these other cultivars, I might be more successful with it. So that's how in-depth this Sunset Garden book is. Let me show it to you, 1 second. All right, and here is the book that I'm talking about. So this is the book that has the sunset climate zones all in it. And then they have all the different plants with the descriptions and, the recommendations and the zoning recommendations and which ones will work and which ones won't work in your area. So they in class, in the Master Gardeners class on Friday, they were literally calling this the Bible. They were saying, this is what we need. Anytime we go to the farmer's market to answer questions for people, which is what Master Gardeners do, they'll set up a booth at the farmer's market and they can answer gardening questions. Or if you're manning the hotline, you want to have this book and you want to reference back to this book. I had no idea how important it was. I have seen this book around all the time. I never owned one because I thought, I can just look it up online or whatever. But I was answering another question, my question and answer, and someone asked me, where do you find the sunset ratings for all the plants? And I normally go to a website of a local garden center and they have all the plant ratings there. And that's how I've always done it for gardening. But actually, they're all in this book and they're all very specific in this book, and you can look up different cultivars. And so basically this is the Bible. Apparently there is an online version of it, but I just ordered the regular version. This one is actually my neighbor's. He let me borrow it. I ordered mine online. I will link it. It's in my Amazon store down below. It's not cheap, you guys. Look for a used version. But I just ordered the new one. I just spent the $100-something because I just have a feeling that I'm going to use it so incredibly much. So this was a really big part of our course, Master Gardener's course, was like how to use this book, how to look things up, what each little thing means, what the genus, how to find the genus, how to find the family, how to find the cultivar, how to find all of the information for all the plants. So I just felt like this was such useful information for me to have and to learn from Master Gardeners. And I just want to encourage all of you, especially if you live in the West Coast, and then even if you live in the East Coast, see if you can find your regional version of this and pick it up and read it, because apparently this is gold. Okay, I will try and stop talking about the Sunset Western Garden book. I feel terrible that it's mainly focused and geared towards everybody who lives on the West Coast. People on the East Coast apparently can still use it, but I think it's just so important for us gardeners here on the West Coast. And I wasn't aware of how important it was, and now I am. After hearing so much about it and learning about it, it's like, okay, great. I feel like this is a new resource that I can use. So moving on from the Sunset Climate Zones and the Sunset Western Garden book, the other things that we learned in class today was, like I said, looking at a plant tag and really understanding what was on it, like really understanding what part sun is and part shade is, and regular water and drought tolerant plants, like what that actually means. And I know that sounds pretty basic, and it's like, we know what that means, but actually there's specific definitions for it, specific horticulture.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
defined definitions for all of these that I wasn't aware of, and you can't always find that information online. So for instance, exposure needs for a plant. You look at a plant tag and it says, you know, full sun or part shade. What does that actually mean? So for full sun, it always means 8+ hours of sun. Doesn't matter if it's morning sun, doesn't matter if it's evening sun, it's 8+ hours of sun for that plant. So that's pretty straightforward. Now, part sun is 4 to 6 hours. Part shade is 2 to 4 hours of morning light only. So morning light versus afternoon light, there's a big difference there, right? You stand outside, at least here in California, we stand outside in the sun in August when it's so incredibly hot, and I can stand outside for 15 minutes at 10 a.m. I can't stand outside for 15 minutes at 3 o'clock. It's too hot and the sun is too strong, and that's the same thing for plants. So if a plant has a part shade rating, it's not that you can put it on a western facing, garden bed where it gets 2 hours of afternoon sun, because that might be a little too much for it. But 2 hours in the morning of that gentle sun, 2 to 4 hours, is going to be perfect for that plant. So that's the difference between part sun and part shade. Part sun is, it can handle that 4 o'clock sun, that 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock sun. Part shade is, it can't, and it needs to have morning sun. All right, then we have full shade, and full shade is actually less than 2 hours of morning sun. So again, it can get some sun. It can get some sun up to 2 hours, but it has to be that morning sun. So I have a spot right by my front porch, and it does get sun in the summer. It's east facing, and it does have kind of an overhang over it. So, you would think, okay, well, it's not full shade because it does get some sun, but it actually is full shade because it only gets about a half an hour, maybe an hour of early morning sun, and then it's shade the rest of the day. So that area is a full shade area. And part shade, part sun plants, they don't do well. They don't get enough sun because it's just too little. But then you put something like a camellia that does well in shade but really blooms better with a little bit more sun, and that camellia thrives there. I have a camellia there, and it's really happy there. And then finally, they did talk about indirect light. So this is mainly going to be for indoor plants, but bright indirect light means the plant is near a window but is not actually in the rays of the sun. The sun isn't beating down on it, because that would be too much for a bright indirect light plant. That bright indirect light.
Did you know that our food system is basically designed to be wasteful? We grow food in the US that goes to waste. That's one
would work for is actually a fluorescent light. If you had a fluorescent light and you put it very close to the plant, that would be enough. That's the right spectrum of light particles or light waves, however you say it. That's the right thing for a bright indirect light rated plant, exposure need plant. Okay, now water needs. I think this is really important to talk about, because anytime I talk about irrigation or I talk about watering a plant, putting drip irrigation on, I get a lot of questions like, how long do you leave it on for? How often do you turn it on for? What size emitter do you have? And the reason why it's really hard to answer those questions for a particular plant, how much to water a particular plant, is there are so many factors that change how much water you need. So you really have to look at the plant, and you have to be able to understand what you're kind of looking for in a moisture level for that plant, because the heat can change how much you need to water it. The wind can change how much you need to water it. Morning sun versus evening sun, like that can change how much you need to water it. So it's very variable. So when I say these definitions to you guys, don't take them with a grain of salt, because it's gonna change. Don't stick to it specifically and do the exact thing that the horticulture definition says, because there's variables to it. This is just a recommendation that you can kind of start with, and then you can kind of adjust from there. Okay, I'm going to reference my book. All right, so water needs is how much and how often a plant needs. When a plant is rated regular water or average water, what that means is consistently moist. So anytime that you take your finger and you stick it in the soil, maybe an inch into the soil, you're going to pretty much feel it moist. And you want to water on average about every 2 to 3 days. Then you go with moderate water, and that type of plant can dry out slightly. So when you stick your finger in that plant and you kind of feel around, you can feel it being dry. You don't have to worry about it being dry if you feel it and it doesn't feel cool, it doesn't feel damp or anything like that. But you do want to water it about every 3 to 5 days. You don't want to leave it dry for a prolonged period of time. Then we have little water needs plant, and that can withstand dry periods of around 7 to 10 days. So about for a week, you can go in and you can feel it, and you can feel that that soil is dry, and that plant can handle it. That plant actually wants it. Then we go on to drought tolerant plants. So this is defined as little or infrequent watering until the plant is established, then deep watering 1 to 2 times a month. So this is something that a lot of people have trouble with because they buy a drought tolerant plant. You know, they go to a big box store and there's a big sign that says drought tolerant, you know, like save water, all those things, you know, all those drought tolerant plants say, and they have the tags advertising that. However, that plant is not technically drought tolerant until it is established in its home. You still have to water it so that it can root in and it can survive. And then once it's rooted in, then you can kind of back off. So for instance, in my oak tree garden bed, I planted all drought tolerant plants there. However, I am still watering them as like average water plants because they haven't even been in for a full year. So they're not completely rooted in. Probably the end of this year into next year, I'm going to decrease my watering in that area to only 1 to 2 times a month, because then that plant will be rooted in, that plant will be settled in, and it won't need as much water. But from the very beginning, you do need to water drought tolerant plants. Same thing if you have a drought tolerant plant in a pot or in its, you know, if you take it home and you don't plant it right away, that plant still needs to be watered on a regular basis. So not a ton of watering, but you know, you still have to water it until it gets rooted in. Then you can back off to the 1 to 2 times a month. Okay, and then finally we have ample or wet water, and this means roots are always wet, it's never dry. Every time you touch the soil, it's moist, it's wet, and you basically want to water these plants daily. So I hope this helps you guys. Again, I'm going to emphasize this. This is just a starting point. It's going to change over the year. How much you water something in March, April, May is going to be completely different than how much you water something in August, September, you know, maybe not October, but you know what I mean. So the hot months versus the cooler months. So you're going to have to keep going and you're going to have to keep checking it. That's why I really like the Ratio system. That's what I use. It's a irrigation system that I actually have on my phone, and it's so easy for me to change how much I'm watering things. When we've had all this rain the past month, all I do is I go on my Ratio system and I skip it and I skip it and I skip it. And I can set it where it will automatically skip with a weather skip, but I just like doing it manually myself. And I just I'm just on top of it with my watering because it's on my phone all the time. And I just think that that's how you have to do it with your garden, is you can't set it and forget it, unfortunately. You really have to think about it. All right, so then for the rest of the class, we talked about, you know, more definitions of plants and things that we need to know as gardeners, you know, like the different types of plants, trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, what all of those really mean. Herbaceous plants are plants that actually completely they die back to root crown during dormancy, kind of like a hosta. A hosta is a herbaceous plant. And then we talked about life cycles, annuals versus perennials versus biennials. And then we talked about like plant anatomy and identifying a plant. And I'm not going to go over this with all you guys. It was really interesting because the way that they identify things, I mean, it's down to the veins and the shape of the leaf and the, you know, where the stems come off. And they were talking about something called dicots versus monocots. And apparently this is a big thing. This is a big deal. So when you think of weed control, like you think of something like Roundup or something like that, you need to know whether you're trying to address dicots or monocots, basically broadleaf weeds or narrowleaf weeds. I think that's how you call it. But you can get specific and you can get herbicides to focus on one of those. I think Roundup focuses on all of them. That's why it's one of the reasons why it's so bad. You know, they were just going really into detail, and I actually feel good. I feel good about understanding all of it and knowing how to look up, you know, if I have a leaf, if someone brings me a leaf, knowing how to look it up and how to be able to try to identify that plant and get a good idea of actually what I'm looking at. Then finally, the last thing we talked about was botanical names. Now this, I was kind of like rolling my eyes a little bit, you know, internally, not externally, you know, nobody saw me, but I absolutely hate botanical names. I like calling plants by their common names. I feel so much more confident saying it. I feel more confident pronouncing it. I feel like I can remember a common name. However, they made a good point on why we all should use botanical names, especially someone like me that's on YouTube or Instagram, and I'm talking to people not just in the United States, not just in my region, you know, but kind of all over. And that's because a plant botanical name is the same across the world. If I call something a Nandina domestica, somebody in Australia is going to know what I'm talking about. Somebody in Japan is going to know what I'm talking about, right? But if I call it a heavenly bamboo, somebody on the East Coast might not know what I'm talking about because they might call it something else. I don't know. But you know, somebody in Japan might call it something completely different. So just in an effort to level the playing field, the presenter was just talking about why botanical names are so important. And it's not a matter of trying to sound smart. It's just a matter of that's literally what the real name is. I remember when I was young, I used to watch like Martha Stewart, and she would always call everything its botanical name. And I used to think she was just doing it just to be, you know, like, I'm Martha Stewart and I know everything. But now I get she was right. She was doing the right thing by calling it its real botanical name. So I am terrible about this. I'm going to start working on it. I get the importance of it now. You know, it was made clear to me, and it is something that I will work on. I'm sure I will still call which is the second word, and no, I'm sorry, genus and species, which is the second word, and then what's the cultivar? And the cultivar is always in the single quotes, and that's how you know it's like the specific kind, right? So, you know, if you look at like a penstemon, you know, it's like penstemon is the genus, and then like hybrid is the species. There's actually a species of penstemon called hybrid. And then I'm trying to think of one, like I think there was one called firecracker is a cultivar, right? But then there's like 30 other cultivars in the penstemon hybrid family or species. So I hope this makes sense what I'm telling you guys, but they were just making it clear how important it is. So when you all are learning the names of your plants that you're putting into your garden, try and remember the botanical name, because it's just a good skill to learn. And I never gave enough weight to that. I literally thought it was just people trying to sound smart. So I never gave enough weight to it, but now I really do. And I'm going to be working on it. It's something I'm going to be working on. All right, so that is it for my week 3 recap of my Master Gardener's Training Program. Again, I felt like this week was a lot more of what I expected Master Gardeners was going to be, a lot more focused on plants. Still very scientific, but very helpful. I feel good. I feel confident about what I learned this past week, so I'm excited about it. This is my textbook that we are using in our California Master Gardeners. This is available on Amazon. So it is in my Amazon store under my book recommendations list. And that this is there as well, this Sunset Western Garden book. Again, this book is so expensive. I can't believe how expensive it is. There are older versions, like this is a 1995 version. I think this is a 2012 version, and they actually don't make this anymore. So I just have to tell you guys, there is a gentleman that is in my Master Gardeners class, and he used to work for Sunset. He actually worked for Sunset, which I thought was so incredible. So anyways, he was telling us kind of behind the scenes, and apparently some other people bought Sunset magazine and they decided not to pursue this. They decided that this was not a moneymaker for them. So they stopped updating the book and they stopped emphasizing it, which is so depressing and sad, and hopefully they'll change their mind, or maybe they'll sell the company and then somebody will start taking on this again and maybe expanding it more to the whole country, because I really do think it's incredibly useful. So anyways, this is the 2012 version, which is the version that I'm getting. But what he said was the difference between the older versions and the newer versions are the newer versions have more pictures, period. That's it. It's the same book. So if you guys can find a cheaper version of the older version, I say go ahead and get it. If you have a cheaper, or if you have an older version in your bookshelf that you haven't looked at in years, don't buy the new version, because apparently it's not needed. It just has more pictures. So that's what I heard through the grapevine, but I believe it. I just happened to buy the big version because I was excited and I wanted it. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this. Stay tuned. I'm not sure what next week is. Hold on, let me check. Next week is plant propagation and composting. Okay, see how fun this is? So you guys should definitely, if you're thinking about joining your local Master Gardeners, I recommend it. It takes a ton of time out of my day, but I really, really enjoy it. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope.
Hopefully you guys enjoy it. I enjoy listening to her. Very knowledgeable. So I found that video that I went to show you. All right, so I went to videos. I'll find it faster. All right, let's see. Please be here. I saw it on my phone. Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go.
Oh, you found it?
I found it, you guys.
Awesome.
See, you guys? That's her. Isn't that cool? Like, that's her. And like when you go into the grocery store or Green Acres and you see her, that's pretty cool.
We don't see it. We just see your the screen on the YouTube with the Master Gardeners Week 3.
What's that?
I said we
Oh,
don't.
Oh, you don't see this? Oh my gosh. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you, Candace. Yeah, every time that I was like super excited to watch that, and then you're like, Tammie, you're talking to yourself again. All right, let's see here. Chrome tab. Where is it? Let's do this one. Oh, here it is. All right, all right, let's watch this all over again. All right, you guys. Sorry. All right, here we go.
Hi everyone, my name is Janie Santos. I have a YouTube channel called Dig, Plant, Water, Repeat. I am a flower-obsessed master gardener based out of the Sacramento area, and I'm here at Green Acres Nursery and Supply in Elk Grove. Today, I want to talk to you all about my favorite plant brand, Proven Winners.
See, Candace, that's her. Maybe that will be me one day, you guys. When you go into your local Home Depot, your Lowe's or something.
Okay. That's you today.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And I was like, oh no, she's someone big. Like, heck yeah, maybe I'll run into her, and maybe a webinar or some, maybe one day I'll meet her. Who knows? You dream, you think big, good things happen, man. It's pretty cool.
I am so happy to announce that Matsuda's and Proven Winners are teaming up to grow Proven Winners annuals, perennials, and shrubs for all of you here at Green Acres. I love Proven Winners. They're known as the brand that gardeners trust, and there is a reason for that. If you see this white can on the shelves here at Green Acres, you know that you are going to get a plant that is going to perform beautifully for you in your garden. The reason why I know that is Proven Winners extensively test these plants at their research and development facility. They go through thousands of plants to pick the very best one to put in this can and send to you so that you can have success in your garden. So let me tell you about my absolute hands down favorite plant from Proven Winners. I call this the OG. This is Supertunia Vista Bubblegum. It is a petunia, but it is so much more than a petunia. Proven Winners actually calls it a Supertunia, and they call it a Supertunia Vista. This plant, if you can believe it, it starts out in this 4-inch pot. It's going to grow to about 4 feet wide. I kid you not. And it is going to be covered with these gorgeous pink blooms. When I started off gardening, I was really nervous. I was nervous I was going to kill every single plant that I brought home from the garden center. I brought home 7 of these Supertunia Vista bubblegum that I found at the garden center, and I planted them. I watered them, I fertilized them, I took care of them, and they blew up in my garden. I had every single one of my neighbors stopping by to give me compliments on my Supertunia Vista bubblegum, and from then on, I was hooked. There are different varieties of Supertunias that you can get from Proven Winners, from the classic Supertunia to the Supertunia Mini Vista, which are smaller sized flowers but still incredibly vigorous, and then finally the Supertunia Vista, which actually climbs on top of itself and just keeps growing and growing and growing. If you want to get major bang for your buck out of plant, grab one of these Supertunias and plant them in your garden. Keep them watered and keep them fertilized. That's really important. These plants, one of the reasons why they are so prolific is they're bred to not set seed. What that means is this plant is going to grow, it's going to bloom, and then a normal plant will always try and set seed before it dies. But since Proven Winners has bred this plant to not set seed, this plant is just going to keep blooming and blooming and blooming its little heart out, trying to set seed. And what we get from that, because this plant has bred to be sterile, we get a plant that blooms all season long. And when I say all season long, I'm not kidding. It's March now, and this plant will bloom all the way into November. Now, this plant is sold as an annual, but let me tell you, here in the Sacramento area, we are in zone 9B, and that makes us really, really special. A lot of plant brands will put the name annual on a plant like this because in most places of the country, the cold winters will kill this plant. Because we live in such a mild climate though, most of the time this plant and others will actually overwinter, and you can consider this a short-lived perennial. Just make sure you give it lots of fertilizer so it can keep blooming, and cut it back at the end of the year. The other thing I want you to think about when you're growing a plant like Supertunia Vista bubblegum is I want you to think about some of the pests that we have around here. One of the main pests that we have that attack petunias and attack calibrachoa are budworms. They are my arch nemesis. They're little green worms that come from white butterflies, and they will crawl around and hide in the foliage of this plant and eat the beautiful pink blooms off of this plant. You won't even notice them. I promise, you won't even see them. And so if you notice your plant is not blooming as much as you think it should, I want you to consider that you might have budworms. It's really easy to care for budworms. Go to Green Acres Nursery and Supply and ask for something called Bacillus thuringiensis. It's actually a natural bacteria found in our soil that is extracted and used as a spray. You can spray that on your Supertunias or your calibrachoas, and that will make sure that the budworms don't eat your precious blooms. So proper watering, proper fertilizing, and watching out for pests is going to keep these blooming in your garden all season long. And I promise you, 1 can is going to cover an area this wide, and your neighbors are all going to be jealous of you. So like I was saying, Proven Winners has different varieties of Supertunias. Not only different colors, but also different sizes, I would say. So Supertunia Vista bubblegum, what I was telling you before, is going to be the biggest, the most prolific. Then we have Supertunia Mini Vista, which are very prolific, but they're smaller blooms. And then finally, we have the classic Supertunia, which is going to be super prolific as well as compared to other petunias, but they're just not as big as the Supertunia Vistas. Let me tell you about 2 new Supertunias that just came out this year from Proven Winners that I'm so excited about. Now, if you know me, you know I'm a pink girl. I love pink flowers. It's one of my favorite colors to plant. I'm just completely attracted to it, like I'm a 5-year-old girl, right? This one is called Supertunia Tiara Pink. And the reason why it's called Tiara is because it has a white eye and then it fades out to this really saturated color. And it almost sparkles if you look at it from afar, just like a tiara would sparkle. Proven Winners came out with tiara pink, and then there's also tiara blue, which is just as beautiful, but a purplish blue color. Now, the interesting thing about these two plants is that although they're both supertunias, the tiara pink is actually more vigorous than the tiara blue. So it's kind of fun to understand the different supertunias, what you want to plant in your garden, what color you want. There's so many options, and Green Acres Nursery and Supply has them here now. So another really great plant from Proven Winners that you're gonna find at Green Acres Nursery and Supply is Super Bells. Now, Super Bells are just like Supertunias. It's basically petunias times 10. These are Calibrachoas times.
I'm gonna have like a bubble gum garden. I'm gonna have a pink lemonade garden. I love the names. It's pretty cool.
10. You're gonna find these in every single color you can imagine. And this one is one of the new ones that I'm really excited about. It's called Super Bells Magic Pink Lemonade. And the reason why it's called magic is that the blooms will actually change color as the season goes on. It's called Pink Lemonade, of course, because we have hints of pink, yellow, and coral. So at a certain point, you're gonna see blooms of all three colors on one plant, which is absolutely incredible. You wanna care for Super Bells the same way that you care for Supertunias. You wanna make sure you water them appropriately. You wanna make sure you fertilize them, and you wanna make sure that you watch out for some budworms. These guys like a little bit drier of an environment, drier roots than Supertunias. So you can actually plant these in hanging baskets, and they're gonna be so happy even in our Sacramento heat. Another variety of Super Bells that I love is Super Bells Lemon Slice. To me, this is the OG of Super Bells. It has this gorgeous, gorgeous white and yellow striped bloom that you are gonna be able to see from all the way across your yard. I have actually planted this in my garden, and it's overwintered for multiple years. So it's another one of those plants, it's gonna say annual on the tag. But just remember, for those of us here in the Sacramento area, we are so lucky because we have mild winters. And so these plants are gonna last for multiple years for you in your garden. So head to your local Green Acres and look for the white can with Proven Winners on it. You are going to get a fabulous plant for your garden this season. And I want to remind you, although these plants say annuals, we are so lucky here in the Sacramento area. Zone 9B, a lot of these plants are going to overwinter for us. So you're going to be able to consider them perennials. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Now, speaking of our mild climate, I am so excited to announce the Best for the West collection. The Best for the West collection is a curated collection of plants that I have put together with Proven Winners of all plants that do really well in our heat and our dry climate. They are 12 plants, annuals, perennials, and shrubs that I have tested in my Sacramento area garden and found to perform beautifully. They are going to be located at your local Green Acres coming up this season. So head to your local Green Acres today to find some Proven Winners. I hope you have a chance to get in your garden today.
The end. Yeah, so that's who I've been watching and getting a lot of my beautiful knowledge from, and just watching her and just listening to what she's doing, and somehow apply it to where I live. And I love, like, when maybe next week I'll show you her garden. Oh my God, it's so beautiful, you guys. Like, I don't know. She has like an acre, like I do. So, but she hired somebody to like design. I guess she had a design, but she knew what she wanted, and it was pretty cool to see her. Like, she'll show you the process of what she started from and how long it took. And yeah, there's a series that she put together. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But that's about it. Next week, I'll do, I think, soil. I think that's what we're going to learn on Saturday. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. You guys are all quiet. Thank you, Candace, for showing. Benny, Candace, and Wendy and Vanessa. Thank you all. And it's 1:30 my time. Did you guys like it? I hope so. I know she's a little California-ish, like me, a little bubbly. But I'm not like a flower person. But I'm trying to be more flowery. I love flowers. I just they're a lot more difficult to grow, and I've never really grown them. Mostly I have grown are vegetables and herbs. Herbs are my thing. It's really easy for me to grow them. So the flower stuff, it's going to be challenging learning that whole avenue. And
Like a master herbologist program?
what's that?
Is there like a master herbologist program, like a master gardener program?
I can check for you. I can do some research on that. Herbologist. It might be how do you say the word? It starts with an A. What do you call them? It starts with an A. It's not herbologist, is it? Herbologist? Like, are you looking for like a training? Like, I can check, but a lot of them are like even like just a master food and master gardening. They go through universities. So like when you do want to do horticulture, you actually have to like go to the university and take like all these different like classes, and it's like considered as a degree. You know, when you start getting your certifications and you want to do more, you want to expand your knowledge. Horticulture is the next thing, and then you can specialize in different things. Really, you just gotta like look. I just kind of like run into these things. Like I was watching some. I posted on the platform about where is it? I don't know. I'll find it later. But yeah, it's just interesting. Food science, and stuff like that. I found a lot of courses with that, and now I'm looking to do like florist, like being a florist and being able to do like once I grow all these beautiful flowers before they die, like that's like a business idea. Like, okay, I can have people like make their own bouquet, you know like, I don't know, that's what I've been thinking about. Build your own bouquet, and you walk up and you come into my garden outside in the front yard, and maybe have like a trail or some where they can walk and pick their own bouquet. And then yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but I have so many ideas, I just don't know which one I want to do. Oh man, my brain goes like fast all the time, you guys. So I haven't found what I want to do, but I know it's gardening. I just gotta like find something that I'm really into. Like I have to find something that's easier for me. A lot of these things that I'm doing require physical work. you know, I have to like have my husband help me on a lot of things when it comes to gardening, and using my hands is still difficult, my upper body, like, cutting and stuff and messing anything with glass, I don't want to accidentally drop things and cut myself. So most of the time I'm just like absorbing all the cool information, and then once I do grow these flowers, it's just going to come natural, hopefully, make my own bouquet, but that's what I was kind of thinking about doing. My next certification would be like a certified florist. Maybe do like, people like my work or whatever. Do like wedding events or, birthday parties, and people like my roses. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what I'm going to do? I live on a hill with like an acre of land and so many things I could do. It's just, I don't know, a lot of thinking. Yeah, pretty much. What about you, Candace? How's your gardening going?
Well, I'm good. The cucumbers are still growing, but I've had the two pups of the aloe vera I brought inside and just sat next to a window.
Oh, you did? Are
Uh,
they doing better on the color now?
yeah, the small one it turned green after like a day. The mid-size one it hasn't turned back green yet. But I think it's because the video said it still needs to be regularly watered, even though it's you know.
Yeah, you have to like once it sets root, like the plants the aloes that I have, they set root like long time, and their roots were like, I don't know, 10 miles long. It felt, it looked like they were like Medusa. But yeah, they have to like literally set root, because with aloes they have short roots, so that's why they're so easy, to pull out, you know. Uh, so when you put them in a pot, they're most likely, especially when they have pups on them, I think they're called, they'll start growing out underneath, from the mother and stuff, you know. So I have like a huge one that I need to transplant, and yeah, I just got to get more pots, and then I think I have to get, you know, uh, like like clay plots, you know, because I think they just have more, they stay more colder and stay more moist, you know. What do you call those? What do you call those? Ceramic? What is it? Those pots that are like clay? What do they call them?
I think
And
that's
what are they? I can't think of the word. Like it starts with the I can't think of it, but yeah, the brown like ones that are made out of clay, you
yeah,
know.
it is
Yeah,
clay.
those ones. So yeah, those what they're supposed to be in, you know, because it's a cacti, you know. So you like with cacti, you don't have to water them that much, you know. Once you water them, especially if you have the, you know, the right soil, which is, you know, sand, you know, whatever they came in is basically what they're gonna thrive off on. You know, mine came in like from the dirt, like not even the dirt. It came from Santa Clarita, okay, and like Bouquet Canyon, and that's high up in the cold and really nice area in California. Really nice. That's where I got married, and total different climate. And then coming down here, yeah. So when I got them, I just let them sit in whatever they were sitting in for a long time, and then you know let them sit. And then when they started like busting out, then that's when I started. My dad did it the first round, you know, but this is like the second round where we're having to separate them, so they grow really really fast, at least out here. Sorry, my dogs.
Still like still growing and thriving and making new shoots.
Yeah, they do. And then like I think it's they start blooming in the summer. You'll start seeing that stalk come up in the center, that little flower.
Do we keep the stock or do we have to cut it?
Oh no, it'll seed, it'll just die out and then it'll seed.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how I get so many puppies. So there's just like one mother, there's a couple of them. So, you know, when it dies out, it'll just turn brown, and then the seeds will go in the pot again, and then there'll just be more abundance of aloe. Yeah. But I don't suggest you do what I did, because like they want to get out. They've been wanting to get out. Now that I put them in the ground, I haven't really looked out there. I don't know exactly what their color is. You know, now that it's kind of getting colder and stuff, I don't know. Hopefully they'll just, you know, I don't know. Like with my scallion that I it's like almost 8 years old. Like that thing has been through storms, everything, you know. So I don't know. I have to have my husband go out there and look at the aloe, but I don't know if I have it in the right area. You know, it's turning like brown, you know, and that's not good, you know, because it's too much sun. And when they can't have too much sun, but they need sun, you know, not direct sun, you know, especially in the summer, right where that area is at, it's full direct sun right there. And the sun doesn't go over until like 1 or 2. You know, it needs like be like in a shaded half sun area. Yeah, for sure. Like 4 to 6 hours. Was it 4 hours? The morning one, the shade, where I need like only shade sun in the morning, and then the rest of the day shade. Yeah, for sure. But I move them around a lot, you know, underneath my awning that I have outside. The ones that are out that I still have to transplant, you know. But I don't know, I might have to transplant them all, because I think I have them in the wrong pot. I feel like they're not thriving as like growing wise as they should be, you know. So yeah, that's another mission, is attacking the aloe again. Oh man, it was horrible. Just doing the first time, I was like, "Oh my god!" I just kept on getting poked and poked. I'm like, "Help me! I'm in the you know aloe. I call it the aloe of Eve, you know, because I was like out there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm in a garden of Eve with aloe. So like instead of it being like a rose garden, it's gonna be an aloe freaking pokey garden. Yeah. But other than that, just chilling right now. You guys, the wind starting to pick up. Hopefully, there's not going to be like a storm or anything. Yeah. How's it in Georgia?
I mean, it's getting cool.
Yeah.
Probably like low 70s, high 60s now.
Is that good? Like, I live in California, so like it could be sunny and then like literally 5 or 6 hours, it could be cloudy, and then you wake up the next morning, it could be foggy. It's not really like there's not like a set thing. Like, is it cold out there normally, typically, or is it hot and
Uh,
muggy?
well, it's Georgia weather. You can have
I've never been outside. I've been to Nevada. I've been to like Utah, like just driving to Utah. My dad visited a friend, but it's right next to obviously Vegas. So I don't go out anywhere. I've never traveled. I've only been on a plane one time. One time, you guys. I don't travel.
like
My husband's traveled more than I have, but he was in the service, so he got to go on airplanes and stuff.
you gotta go see the pandas in Japan.
I ain't going nowhere. I'll go if you go. You meet me there.
Okay.
All right, all right. Well,
There's a grant for that.
yeah, and then we'll have Vanessa come, and then Benny, and then Wendy can for sure come if she wants. The whole gang can come, and then we'll tell Candace, we'll meet you there, Candace, and then we'll probably show up virtually. I said we'll totally make it. We just didn't specify how we were going to get there virtually.
We need to go to Jamaica. That's
Oh
what we
no way. Oh my God. I think it's like 5, category 5 right now. Like that's all I've been watching all night. I couldn't
Yeah,
sleep.
no.
I couldn't sleep.
We're getting the breeze. We're getting a lot of wind
Oh,
here
get
in
out of
Florida.
You guys are
Um,
get out of Florida, Wendy. Get out of Florida.
yeah.
You guys are brave. I don't understand like how you guys can go through that. And like it would be
Yeah.
home repairs every day. I would have to build my own home again. Like, it's
Yeah.
not that I don't like water. I don't think I would want to live next to the ocean, visiting it. It's okay. But
Yeah,
just
but
seeing,
doesn't California go through it with the Pacific? No?
I don't live over there. I like
Oh.
I live,
You're more inner,
I
right?
live in the high desert.
Oh, okay,
We got
okay.
high hopes. I used to live in Ventura County, so that was more towards like the beachy area, so it was more cooler. So that's where I was born and raised. I was born and raised in Simi Valley, so I was more. I'm a valley girl for sure. I don't know if you could tell, but I once I hang out with the desert people, I started becoming deserty, And then once I start hanging out with like the 805, it's because that's where I came from, the 805. And now I start talking like I sound like Sabrina. Sabrina sounds like me, and I sound like Sabrina sometimes. Like it sounds like we're like Valley girls sometimes. But yeah, when I hang out with my sister, I talk to my sister. Oh my goodness, she like will start making me talk like we used to talk or something. So I'm like, ugh. And then I start talking to like Daryl like that, and he's like, oh my god, like oh my goodness, like oh my geez, like it's just too funny. I try not to like talk like a valley girl, but and it just comes out, and I'm like, no, yeah, because it sounds like I'm bubbly, but really, I'm like sometimes I'm just very anxious sometimes, and then it comes out bubbly, and then it comes out like Tabby's is fast today. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today, you guys. I want to thank you all for joining, and then hopefully I'll put something in a Google Doc because I did.
Thank you for the information. That was very
Oh yeah, no problem.
especially understanding the different I guess weather, like sunlight of the plants. I didn't know that was that
Yeah.
specific, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, like I encourage you, like do what she says. Like I live on the East Coast, West Coast. And for those who live on the other side, there are what is it? The Sunset book. I've seen them. There's one for Southwest. Yeah. So look at that. It's very important. Consider it as your Bible, because it literally will tell you like everything. Like me, I think mine is Daryl. What's my climate zone on the Sunset? I think it's 11. I think it's 11, right?
Yeah.
Mine's 11. So hers is I think 14. So yeah, it's really good to find out your climate zone. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if you're not growing oregano and it's not working for you, you might want to check why your oregano's growing. So yeah, so maybe that's what I'm doing wrong. There's could be things that I'm doing wrong because I purchased the book myself. I bought it because I watched her and I was like, okay, I'm being in the program, and her experience is different than mine. Mine's kind of like I wish my experience was more like hers. I feel like mine's kind of like chill, like lay back. I don't know how you want to say it. With my master food preservation class, it's like I felt like I was in boot camp. Like that one was more different, more like I had to talk and I had to presentate and do like research and case studies, and just the way the teacher taught, it was it kept me interested in it. The thing is, I don't have a hands-on experience yet. For me, I have to listen to it again and again and again. So next year, I'm going to volunteer to do the next master food program. So as a volunteer to do my 50 hours, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be being like a co-host and putting people in breakout rooms and introducing myself as a master food preserver and whatever I'm doing. Yeah. So yeah, getting into the Zooms. That's my thing. Getting into the Zooms and doing the research part. Yeah, because when I'm in these meetings, because when we have volunteer meetings, I feel like I'm out of place because I'm not a canner. So everybody knows everybody, and I'm just kind of like, I don't have any canning experience. I don't live in San Bernardino like that, down in the San Bernardino area. I live in San Bernardino County, but I live in Barstow, and a lot of the people live in the city area, and they meet each other. They talk to each other. They go to these events. They go to these farmers markets and go to wherever they may be volunteering in. So they talk to each other. Me, I'm doing Zooms and behind the scenes kind of person. So sometimes it's kind of awkward. And then, once I, do the volunteer, I would call it an internship. That's why I call it. I'll be more educated, because like when I first did it, it went one ear out the other. It was so much information, so much information. I never thought food preservation had so much information, because you can literally kill somebody. Like if you don't give the right information, like you can literally hurt someone, could die if you don't.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, probably teach them how to do these types of techniques of preserving your food. And master gardening, you're not going to kill anybody, so it's different. You're mostly going to kill an insect, but it's totally different course. I had to do more things before I entered the program. I didn't have to have an interview in the master gardening program. I had to do a board interview when it came to master food preserving, though. So that was different for me, nerve-wracking. Never had that happen. So yeah, it was more different. And then I had to like get my food handler card before I joined the program. So I had to get a lot more things. There was more prereqs, and I had to have community experience, and that's what I got from the Let's Go 2 community. I was doing live Zooms, and that's something that I love doing. I love meeting new people and talking. Once I feel comfortable of what I'm speaking about. Right now, I don't feel comfortable because I barely just graduated, and I don't have. I need to attend more webinars and get into it, because I'll lose interest. You guys, I'm that type of person. I just get bored really easily. So I'm constantly thinking of new things every day to learn and further educate a skill, a hobby. But yeah, that's about it with me, you guys. So anybody have any Halloween plans? Anybody going trick-or-treating? I know Candace is. She loves trick-or-treating. And I know Vanessa loves trick-or-treating.
I would love to go to the mall and jump in the bowl of candy and pick all the candies I want, but
I
I
know,
have
right?
yet to do that yet. I heard the mall has like a big the mall over here in Florida, they have like a big like a pool-sized bowl of candy, and I was like,
What?
push all the kids out the way and go get the good candy, but I have
Is it
yet
like
to
a
do that yet.
gigantic pool? Is it like a big pool? Like, is it like
Yeah, big pool of candy, literally. I just see myself swimming in candy. Yeah,
you gotta find that. I want to see that. I'm
I
like,
gotta find that. I know.
I was like, that sounds like a Minnesota thing. Like, is it the Mall of America?
Yeah, and all the shops has candy, so you can get the candies from the shops, or you can go jump in that pool of candy.
Oh
Can you
wow, yeah.
imagine? Because the
Oh
mall that we have here is like literally like 6 miles. Like
yeah,
going all around from the beginning to the end, you have walked about 6 miles. It's very big. Very, very
yeah.
big.
That's like the Ontario Mall, like down in like San Diego. Or it's like it looks like the Wizard of Oz, where it goes in a circle. It
Wow,
literally
yeah. In a circle, that's how it is.
it
Yeah.
goes in a freaking circle, and it's like it's one
Yes.
of the biggest malls in the United
Literally,
States.
that'd be the best place to do your morning exercise, the
Oh
mall.
my goodness! Like by the time you get to your favorite store, like you'll be like, "Oh, I'm
Right?
hungry."
I'd be like, I'm
You
not walking 6 miles just to go to one store. Forget it. I'm like,
I'm gonna get my wheelchair. I'll be like, "Peace out, you guys." No, I went there one time, and like you got to park your car. Where do you park your car when this mall is a circle and you can only? I think there's only 2 exits or 3 exits.
and you
'Cause
lose your
there's
car. Yeah.
Yeah, like, valet, please. Valet, valet.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I do valet. I'm like, hey, valet.
I ain't gonna
Make it
want
easy for me. Or
no.
you know what? Drop me off and you go find parking. I'm good. I'll wait.
And get my wheelchair out because I'm not gonna be walking, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. Like I'll wait
Like
right
my
here.
motor scooter or something, like, oh my god, yeah, it's a long walk. I only been there one
Mhm.
time, but I don't know if it's open still. There's a lot of malls that are closed these days, but yeah. I was born in Simi Valley, so we went to the Thousand Oaks Mall and saw fireworks and stuff like that, but
I wonder what they do with the leftover candy when it's not taken. If
oh,
it's so big, like what do they do with it? But
um,
yeah,
you should ask them. Be
yeah,
like,
right.
they
Come,
probably give it to food
come
banks or
my suitcase.
be like, "I'll be next to the dumpster," I love dumpster diving. Fuck the pool. I mean, I love pools and everything, but the dumpster diving, that sounds like worthless because no one's gonna know anything. I lost my necklace in there somewhere. It's an edible necklace. It's my favorite necklace. All right, you guys. I'm gonna go. It was nice talking to you guys, and I will see you next week. And I think there's a upcoming class today's Sunday. I think Sabrina has a class today. If you go into your calendar, I think it's today. Today's Sunday. Is it? Does she have one today, you guys?
I think something says 10:30. I don't know if it's so.
I
But
gotta.
collectively or
Yeah, I think she has one tonight, or she had one yesterday, Saturday.
I
So,
went on it. Nobody was on it. I don't know. Maybe I
oh,
was
it was yesterday.
about 9:50. I logged on, but no,
It
I couldn't get it.
started. We cut it short because it was just me and Benny.
Oh,
So it
okay.
was like I think it was like Benny was like maybe 10 minutes. We were in there, and
Oh, I
yeah,
missed it.
but we're waiting for you. We waited for you guys because she wanted to go over like a name or something like that, and so
Mhm.
she's waiting. And I think she'll go over it maybe tonight or no, tonight isn't that tall? Isn't that the talls and tails? I can't say it. I have to look at the image because it's like a tongue twister. Yarn tells and well, Sabrina, don't kill me. I can't think of a name now. Yarn tales, yarn yards and tales. I think that's tonight. Is the story night, right? Sunday. I
Okay.
believe. I think it's Sunday. I think that's the class tonight. I believe. I gotta look at the. I'm not. I gotta go back onto the platform, but I think that's. I think it's tonight. All right, you guys. Hopefully you. I'll see you guys tonight. If there is one tonight, I believe there is one tonight. Yarn yards and tales. I think. Yeah, I think. All right,
Happy
you guys.
birthday again, Vanessa.
Vanessa, happy birthday to you. Everybody, unmute your mic and say happy birthday to Vanessa. Happy birthday
Thank you,
to
everybody.
you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday. Wendy, you gotta sing. Wendy.
You. Happy birthday, dear Vanessa.
Yes,
Happy
Can
birthday
happy
to
birthday
you.
to you.
Thank y'all.
All right, you guys. I'll see you next week, and many more on Channel 4 and Scooby Doo on Channel 2, and all the rest on
Okay.
CBS. I don't know the rest of the words, but I'll see you guys later.
All right.
Bye.
I mean,